The other type of non-covalent interaction is hydrogen bonding. It is very common in biological molecules. But before going into a detail, let me give you a brief introduction of electronegativity. So, basic chemistry, electronegativity is the tendency of an atom to attract electrons. Linus Pauling, he devised a scale for electronegativity values of atoms. More positive values mean greater tendency for attraction of electrons. Now, if we have a situation when two atoms they are bonded by a covalent bonds, and if they differ in their electronegativity values, what will happen? The more electronegative atom will develop a partial negative charge, and the other atom will develop a partial positive charge. So again, we will have a situation of dipole environment. And when it is present in a covalent bond, we call it as a polarized bond. For instance, I've shown the electronegativity values of all those common atoms that are commonly available in macromolecules like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen. Oxygen, the electronegativity value for oxygen is 3.4. So it is more electronegative than nitrogen, carbon, and hydrogen. I would say carbon and hydrogen, they are more electropositive, meaning that they have a lesser tendency to attract electrons. Similarly, nitrogen is more electronegative than carbon and hydrogen. Now, if we have a situation like here, so nitrogen is bonded to hydrogen by a covalent bond, and here carbon is bonded to oxygen by a covalent bond. Now, nitrogen is more electronegative than hydrogen. So, what will happen? The nitrogen atom will attract the electron more toward itself, and ultimately it will develop a partial negative charge, while hydrogen will develop a partial positive charge. Here again, we have oxygen, which is more electronegative than carbon. So oxygen will attract a shared pair of electron more towards itself, and resultantly a negative charge will be developed on oxygen and a partial positive charge will be developed on carbon. Now we can see that these molecules, these atoms, for instance, nitrogen and hydrogen and carbon and oxygen, they're bonded together by a covalent bonds. Now, if we have a situation where these two atoms that are bonded together by a covalent bond, and when they differ from each other based on their electronegativity values, then they create a sort of a dipole environment, and we call this bond as a polarized covalent bonds. Now, if they come close together, then there is a tendency that the oxygen will ultimately interact with the hydrogen, and we call this type of bonding as hydrogen bonding. Now, the atom that will provide hydrogen is known as a donor, and the other atom that will accept and interact with hydrogen is known as acceptor. So another important concept is that the molecules that contain polarized covalent bonds are known as polar molecules or polar groups. So meaning that if we have a molecule and in that molecule we have a covalent bond between two electronegative atoms, and based on their electronegativity values they have the tendency to develop a dipole environment which will ultimately make them polar molecules. We discussed different types of non-covalent interactions, and we concluded that these different types of non-covalent interactions ultimately bring interactive atoms into a stable state, and the energy of interaction at that stable state is known as stabilization energy. It is one of a very important concept. So stabilization energy is the amount of energy of interactive atoms when they are at an optimal distance, and that energy of interaction is known as stabilization energy and is lower than the energy of atoms when they are far apart. We discussed van der Waals attraction. We talked about how the induced dipole environment is generated on neutral atoms. Now, if we have those neutral atoms, those induced dipoles, if they are separated by an optimal distance of 3 angstrom, then the interaction energy will be -1 kilojoule per mole, which is the unit of energy, kilojoule per mole. Although this interaction is very weak, however, the additive effect of many such small interactions have a very bigger impact. For example, a very common example, walking of a small lizard, gecko, on a smooth surface. So these small lizards, they use van der Waals attraction to walk on a smooth surface. Then we talked about salt bridges, and we discussed that we have different opposite charges on the molecules. And for instance, we took an example of amino acids. So the side chain of one amino acid is positively charged and the side chain of another amino acid is negatively charged. They can interact with each other through salt bridge if they are sitting close together at an optimal distance. Now, when a negative charge is interacting with a positive charge in a vacuum by a distance of 3 angstrom, which is an optimal distance, the interaction energy is -500 kilojoule per mole, which is a very high interaction energy. Similar situation in water, the interaction energy will be reduced to -6 kilojoule per mole, so decreased by a factor of 80. Now, what will be the situation in proteins? So, inside protein, the environment is like a vacuum. So, the stabilization energy is also very high. It is about -250 kilojoule per mole. And that's why fully charged molecules, they are rarely found inside proteins because a very high energy penalty is required to break them apart. Therefore, the charged molecules, they are usually found on the surface of proteins where the stabilization energy or energy of interaction is about -20 kilojoule per mole. So the third non-covalent interaction we discussed the hydrogen bonding, and we took an example of like CO and NH. They interact with each other through hydrogen bonding. One of the point I want to discuss here, as I think I missed that point when we were talking about hydrogen bonding, the optimal distance in case of hydrogen bond is about 2.4 to 2.7 angstrom. So the hydrogen bonding is more effective in this particular distance, and they should be collinear. So the interacting molecules should be close enough in a collinear way, and if we change the orientation, it will ultimately break the hydrogen bond. So these hydrogen bonds are usually 5 to 20 times stronger than van der Waals attraction in a water environment. So if we have an aqueous environment, it definitely weakens these hydrogen bondings. Thank you very much.